All right, so let's start. So I will be presenting a few common questions with answers, and then we'll practice a bit. We'll go over 3, 4 questions, common questions, because common questions are common. And not only that, we need to really do well in those questions, because those will be the questions that they know you prepared for these questions. And yesterday we had a session on ethical questions. I think down the week we have another session on ethical questions. Today, if we get time, we will also look at questions that we can ask your interviewer. So you will also talk about those questions as well. All right. So I'll just present a few. Okay. And okay, hopefully I get this right, huh? So tell me about yourself. And this going to be for internal medicine. I'll mix in family medicine questions and answers as well, because we have a diverse population here. So, all right. So tell me about yourself. Well, thank you for asking this question. I know this is a very common question, and I did surely, of course, prepare for it. Hopefully, I have a good presentation today here with this question for you. Originally, I am from Chichavatni. This is a town in Pakistan, and this is a small town. However, people have big hearts in this town. I did grow up with a family where everyone had a strong sense of curiosity. And I pursued my medical degree at the prestigious Islamabad Medical College. It's one of the top institutions in Pakistan. And this experience has challenged me and inspired me every single day. While I don't really want to repeat my CV, I will briefly mention that I did score really highly well in my USMLE Step 2, which you, of course, will see, which I am, of course, definitely proud of this achievement. And this does reflect the hard work that I put into my studies. And during medical school, I had the opportunity to contribute in many research projects during and after my medical school. And I was fortunate enough to get published in the Journal of Internal Medicine. Additionally, my US clinical experiences at the community hospital at 𝐓𝐨𝐩 taught me a lot about patient care and navigating diverse patient healthcare settings here in the US. I've also received allocates, awards, ward appreciations, which you can, of course, see in my CV. One thing that I most enjoyed was the chance to work with diverse patient populations, which allowed me to deepen my understanding of not only medicine, but also the socioeconomic factors that impact health. For instance, during a community health rotation, I worked with underserved populations, which really sparked my interest in patient advocacy. I do believe that I'm big on that. Stepping back a little bit, I recall that from an early age, my mom would always encourage me to question every single thing, whether it was asking why the sky is blue or why different herbs are used in cooking. So this early curiosity paired with my natural interest in science definitely led me towards medicine. Outside of medicine, I am definitely passionate about hiking, exploring new trails. I joke that my best aha moments often come when I am lost in nature, literally lost sometimes. So as I always have a knack of getting off track, but I always find my way back. This has, of course, taught me a lot about patience, resilience, and the importance of planning, which I believe are, of course, also crucial in the medical field. Now, I do look towards residency. I'm excited to bring my background, my curiosity, my dedication to patient care, and to any program where I am at. And I would be dedicated continuously to learning and collaboration. I'm really looking forward to the next steps in my medical journey. Okay. So hopefully this was reasonable.
Bravo.
So yeah, this was probably you guys have gone through the program. This was one of the, I've read that and sort of regurgitated some of that. So that was one. Let's go over the 3 strengths, and this we'll focus more on family medicine. Okay. All right. So the 3 strengths question. Okay, yeah, let me just sneak peek. Okay, so all right. Good question, and I know this is a very common question, and I do believe that my 3 strengths are cultural competency, collaborative approach, and long-term mindset. Just to go into this a little bit of detail, cultural competency is crucial in family medicine, where we treat patients from diverse backgrounds. I actually pride myself on my ability to connect with patients from various cultures and make them feel comfortable. And during my during my observership rotation, we were at an inner city clinic where I worked with a large and diverse population of immigrant patients. And by learning about their cultural beliefs and adjusting my approach to care, I was able to build strong, trusting relationships. Although this was, of course, on the side, I did not want to interfere with the patient care otherwise. So collaboration, as we talked about, is another strength of mine. As family medicine often requires working with other healthcare professionals to provide holistic care, I do believe this has been a strength of mine as well. And I have been looking in the past to collaborate closely with dietitians and also with psychologists to ensure that patients receive comprehensive care that addresses both of their physical as well as their mental health needs. And this teamwork has led to significant improvements in my patients' well-beings that I do believe has been helpful. Lastly, I do believe that family medicine, and I do believe I have the strength of looking for long-term, looking with a long-term approach. And I am committed to building long-term, lasting relationships with my patients. Once in a family medicine elective, I had the opportunity to follow several patients over an extended period of time. And by managing their care over time, I was definitely able to help them navigate chronic conditions and life changes. This has been my ability that I believe that I was always looking forward to the next visit from my patient. And yeah, I believe these are my strengths. Cultural competency, a collaborative approach, and I do believe that my longing to treat patients longitudinally in a long-term care approach, I think this is definitely also one of my strengths. Thanks for asking this question. All right, so hopefully that was reasonable. But just to give you an idea, you don't have to memorize everything. You can go with an idea and you can talk about it and be, the more you rehearse, the more natural you will look to sound. So the idea is to try to get as natural as possible. Okay, somebody has a hand raised. Abdullah.
Yes, Dr. Umar, I have a question. I noticed that when you were talking, you had everything, you formulated everything the way you wanted to. But my question is, will the examiners or the people who are taking your interview, will they try to throw you off by cutting you off where they want, or whether they want to ask you a question?
I don't think so. I don't think many will cut you off. Yeah, I don't think they will cut you off. On typical questions, they probably won't cut you off. Yeah, I doubt they will cut you off.
Like maybe not even cut you off, doctor. Remember, maybe they just say like, you said something. Oh, I want to stop you right there, and I want to know more about that.
Well, I think that would be fair, because everything you say, you need to have you need to be able to support it and back it up.
Yeah.
Everything you say, you have to support yourself, and you have to be able to back it up. If you mention a particular incident, which you should always have some examples, then you should always back it up with some proof or speak eloquently about it. If you have, and for that matter, any experience you put in your CV, and most of this is the experience that you're describing, basically it emanates from your CV in a way. So whatever you talk about, your background, anything, if they ask you a question, then yeah, it's probably honest. So you should be able to talk about it eloquently.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Stefan has a question.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Khan, thanks so much. Those were great answers. My question was the time you spent to respond to those questions. Some of them were like up to 5 minutes. And I don't know if we have such leisure of time to spend in answering each question during the interview.
Right. Oh, they went 5 minutes? Okay. Oh, that's too long. I would say I would say that's too long. Yeah, I would say that's a little long. I actually went longer on the tell me about yourself. I think it's okay for tell me about yourself to go longer. And then this question, 3 strengths, right? It has 3
Okay.
segments to it. So this ends up if they ask for just 1 strength, that'll be shorter. If they ask for 3 strengths, it has to be a little longer.
Okay.
Okay. I think these 2 questions are reasonable to be a little longer.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I see your
Okay.
point. I definitely see your point. I think the first question, tell me about yourself. It's okay if it's interesting enough. It's okay to be a bit longer.
Okay.
And the 3 strengths and the 3, hopefully it's not 3 or 4 or 5, whatever. But if it is 3, then I think you can't. You have to explain yourself. You have to talk
Okay.
about it. So these do end up being longer.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks so much for that, because I'm
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
under the impression that I have to round off everything within like 90 seconds, Oh, sorry, 90 minutes, I mean to say. So, but again, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I think, yesterday you were in the session with the ethical questions, right? So those answers were all within 1 minute to 90 seconds, because
Yeah,
those
that's
were
correct.
straightforward. I mean, those were not multiple. You're trying to concise your life into 90 seconds will be a little difficult. I'm okay with
Yeah.
going a little longer. I believe it's okay if it's interesting enough, you can go a little longer.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so let's do another question. Where will you be in 5 years? And this is a very common question. What will you do after residency? Where will you be in 3 years from now? So that's sort of the same question. And most of the time, you will say, if you have in your mind that, okay, I will definitely be going for this fellowship, or I definitely know that I will be going through for a fellowship, then you can be positive about it. But of course, you need to know whether that program helps for that fellowship, or they already have fellowship programs, for that fellowship. And yeah, so 2 ways to answer. If you should say, yeah, I'm looking for this fellowship. Of course, you have done the research that program has those fellowships, or the residents have gone to those fellowships, even though they don't have that particular fellowship. Or the second approach is that, hey, I'm unsure, but I will be deciding possibly by the end of my first year what I want to do. Okay, so different approaches. If you're definitely not sure, then you can go with the second approach. I would, unless it is a brand new program, I would still say that you should suggest that it's still, I haven't put a finger on it. However, I do believe that I may be deciding for a fellowship at the end of the year. And I can see what specialties are being offered, or which specialties this program is looking to assist in, and what are the strengths with the teaching staff over here, with the teaching staff over here. And I'll gain feedback from them, and what is possible, what is not. And I'll take calculated risk on what I want to pursue. I think it's my opinion that even if it's a 100% community program with nobody going to fellowship, which is rare, which is very, very rare, very rare. If you have that program that has no fellowships, their graduates don't go anywhere, or it's a brand new program, you can still say, I will decide at the end of the first year what I want to do. And of course, I will seek mentorship and feedback from my worthy attendings. But on most occasions, you will be saying, yeah, I might be interested in these fellowships, or I will definitely be deciding by the end of the first year. So no,
Okay.
but it would still be fair game if the program is brand new. I think somebody had a program that they're interviewing at that is brand new, fresh. You can always say, I plan to practice as a family medicine physician, set up a clinic or join a group practice, or possibly connect with the hospital system, possibly at this residency program down the line. Um, um, or for internal medicine, you can say that it's a brand new program for internal medicine. They have no fellowships, nothing. They haven't mentioned anything that they will help you towards fellowships. If they haven't mentioned anything, they have nothing on their website, then you can say, then you could say that, yeah, I don't feel that I may need to do fellowship. I feel that I need to make myself as the best internal medicine physician, and I have seen internal medicine clinicians practicing as internists as well as hospitalists, and I seem to like that as well fairly strongly. So that is up to you if you want to say that. Only in the event that there is no one, they have not explained anything about whether they will help you towards fellowships or not. Most programs would say that, yes, we will help you prepare your research papers, abstracts, and get you towards the goal. We'll try to make phone calls. If the program doesn't mention on their website where their residents might be going or where they will help them secure spots, then possibly say, yes, okay, I think this gives you lots of flexibility. When you are working as a hospital medicine physician, you're working 7 days and you're off 7 days in most situations. Many big cities in New York, perhaps, they don't have this type of schedule. However, most places have a very friendly work-life balance with their schedule. But these situations will be very few, that they will not help you at all for any fellowship. So let's just talk about an answer on a possible fellowship route. Okay. So good question. And yes, of course, I can't really predict the future. But in 5 years down the line, I do see myself practicing as an internal medicine physician, possibly pursuing a fellowship. I have in mind cardiology and gastroenterology. And I do see that you have these fellowships being offered at this program as well. So that is great. And during my residency, I wanted to definitely strengthen my skills in managing all the different types of complex chronic diseases, not only just for my targeted fields of cardiology or gastroenterology. So I want to be a well-rounded physician. That's what I see myself in the next 3 to 5 years. So I'm definitely passionately interested in cardiology and gastroenterology, and I do believe that this aligns with my goals in providing long-term care for the patients as well, because I do believe that cardiology and gastroenterology are part and parcel of a person's life, as you would agree. And by the end of my residency and fellowship, I hope to have developed not only the clinical expertise, but also the leadership skills necessary to advocate for my patients, and I want to contribute to advancing patient care. Thanks for asking. I'm still not 100% sure, but I do believe that I will be going to one of these 2 residencies. So yeah, so this is a typical answer. And of course, you have researched the program. They have a cardiology fellowship. They have a gastroenterology fellowship. And yeah, you can mention it. If they don't have these fellowships, but you know that their residents matched into fellowships in cardiology and gastroenterology, that definitely means that they went through this program and they succeeded. So yeah. Any questions about this, Javeria? Javeria has a hand raised.
Dr. Umer, can I take over and ask a question?
Sure.
Dr. Umer, the questions, they seem very professional the way you approach them. And it feels like you really need to be prepared with the way you build up that answer. My question to you is, if you decide to take a lighthearted approach, and you decide, okay, if they ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And you try to go off on why you think that in 5 years' time you would be interested in a specific field, and you take them along a ride, like a story that you might want to mention. Would that be all right?
Yeah, you want to give an example?
Yeah, okay. Like, for example, I've always been interested in cardiology, because I learned more about it because one of my family members had a phobia for heart disease. So in order to convince him that he was okay, I would need to have all my research at hand. So that's how I got interested into cardiology. Would that be a funny story to tell?
Yeah, I think everything is okay. Yeah. But somebody can ask, okay, how does, okay, does somebody have a remark on this? Does it appear that it really connects him with cardiology?
Yeah, someone should tell me if I'm messing up.
Any thoughts?
Or forever hold your peace. Speak now or forever hold your peace. So, Dr. Umar, I don't think they care. They want me to fail.
No, you're not competing with them.
No,
They're
no,
all family
I'm
medicine.
not.
They're all family
No,
medicine.
yeah, I think that was a strong connection, Dr. Mohammed. I feel that is an example you can present and it makes your story more stronger than you could imagine.
Thank you so much, man.
Anybody else? Feedback?
Say anything. Please. Help.
He's going to use this.
Use this. This might be big, guys.
He's going to use this.
Yeah, because one thing I realize is that people connect more with examples than just stories, you know. So if you're able to present an example, it makes your story more stronger and more memorable than just telling a story, you know. So for me, I feel that is something that we should go with.
Yeah, perfect.
Definitely great.
So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
So, Dr. Abdullah, I will say, rather than saying someone have the fear of having some cardiovascular disease, if you say that someone has the cardiovascular disease, but they were not clear about it and they have different questions and concerns about it, and that was your relative, and then you read about it and explained them, and it was during your internship, maybe that's how it sounds good and more effective.
I know that sounds so serious though. I'm trying to make it less serious. If I tell them that there's someone suffering from heart disease, they'd be like, oh. I wanted it to be different. I thought that everybody mentions someone they've treated.
Yeah, maybe, but it sounds vague. Like,
Okay.
what concerns they have, like which cardiovascular disease concerns they have.
Okay. Thank you.
Obviously, you can't read whole cardiovascular medicine to explain them.
Okay, I get your point. Thank you very much.
I think what she's saying is that maybe a bit more detail.
A bit more specific.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Like you can say they have concerns about, but say that they have symptoms of that resembles to this disease, and then I read about it, or 2 to 3 diseases, then I read about these diseases. Maybe because if you say only concerns about a disease, that it will cover whole cardiovascular medicine.
Yeah, I was more thinking along the lines of people coming to, people with anxiety disorders. They usually have presentations in which they feel like they're having a heart attack because it mimics.
Yeah, that sounds good.
One thing to always keep in mind with comedy, you're not 100% sure what is the mood of the person.
Yeah.
So that just a thought. Comedy is good. You just need to be sure that the person will be receptive. Maybe when you are in the interview and you see the person to be a lively individual, then possibly yes. I think just be cognizant of that fact.
Perfect.
Right. Good.
Yeah. No, but for me, I feel even if the person is so comedy-like, it's still very important for you to maintain some level of professionalism, because that could be a trap and they want to know who you are. So you still want to maintain some level of, how do I put it? Say keep it professional. Okay. Don't be overtly familiar with a person, not like you're going to frown your face or make your face look like a rock, but, just trying to maintain that this is someone you're seeing for the first time, and you just want to make it professional as much as you can while keeping yourself friendly. joking. I don't know if joking is allowed, but I would avoid that, you know.
What you can do is practice with someone. You have good ideas. Practice with someone and get some feedback, as you're getting some feedback right now.
Yeah, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for the feedback. That really helped. That helps me to formulate a plan of action.
Great. Okay, good, good.
Okay,
Yes.
Dr. Khan, I have got a question. Can I
Sure.
ask?
Sure.
Yeah, so one of my interviews is from a program, like it's rather new program, only 2 classes, and they're no class haven't graduated yet. So I was thinking, how should I answer the question about like any plans for my future? They mentioned on their website that they want the residents who are interested in rural medicine. So how should I align my answer according to that?
Okay, so that would be then the first example, one of the examples that I was trying to give about that this program is mentioning that they're not probably
Yes.
helping you for fellowship,
Yeah.
right? And
Yes.
you can say that, yeah, it seems as if that was the program that, would fit that criteria. Not many programs will fit that criteria. And that program will certainly fit that criteria where they are not looking to help you towards fellowship. So you would say,
Yes.
well, of course, I don't know what might happen in the future, but I have certain plans in my life, and I do believe in work-life balance as well. And I do feel down the line in 3 to 5 years, I will be a practicing physician. I'm not too inclined towards fellowship. However, I look to become the best clinician possible, and I do feel best clinician possible, possibly starting my own practice or a group practice, or possibly attaching to this particular hospital as well. Or the hospitalist route is also very enticing given the schedule 7 on, 7 off in certain areas of the US. So it is up in the air right now. However, I do feel that I would want to practice I do want to go into journal medicine. And I do believe that might give me a better work-life balance. Although fully dedicated to the care and well-being of my patients. That's what I hope to do in the future.
Yeah. So while mentioning the work-life balance, is it okay to say that being a woman, it will be great for me to have a work-life balance between my, like in future, my house and my professional life? So is it okay to say that or not?
I wouldn't say that too much. I would just mention it that I believe that as a family physician or opening a clinic will give me my work-life balance. Or
Okay.
working
Yeah.
as a hospital medicine physician will give me the work-life balance that I'm looking for.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Got it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. So one question that comes up that people may have, let's say a low step 1 score, right? A low step 2 score, perhaps. I know nowadays it's step 1 is just pass, but some candidates do have a step 1 score, right? It could be, I've had a person who is applying for the match and he failed the CS exam before COVID, and then eventually, they didn't require it anymore, right? So he had failed the CS exam once. So how to answer like a failure? So the trick to answering these type of questions is that you accept. You really find great excuses. If there is an excuse, then okay, you can mention it. You can mention it if there is an excuse, but you take full responsibility and you talk about how I have overcome this, and that I am no less. That's just a score, and I do consider myself to be an able physician. All right. So let's take step 2 score being low, for example. Well, good question, and I know this would probably come up, but I do believe that my step 2 score was a bit lower than I hoped for, and I do take full responsibility for this. At the time, I was dealing with some personal challenges. My mother had been fairly sick. That did divert some attention, but I do believe that I was not able to dedicate my time that I could have done in that circumstance. However, I've definitely reflected on this experience and I've taken proactive approaches, and you can see that I passed my step 3 exam and I have a very decent score in that. All of this experience has led me to understand the importance of time management and that there will be issues in your life at every moment. And nothing will always be a bed of roses, and you will always have challenges, and you have to work with your challenges to get your best results. And yeah, this I believe my clinical experiences and my medical school scores all have been stellar. And I don't think that step 2 score actually represents me. I'm fully confident that I am a resilient and a focused physician. I'm ready to take on the challenges of residency. Thanks for asking this question. Okay, so anybody has any deficiency, I think that may be a good approach. Any thoughts? You don't have to disclose any of your deficiency here. That's okay.
I thought that was a perfect answer.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So the principle is the same, because they're not going to ask the same questions and you're not going to have the same deficiencies, right? But the principles are going to be the same. The principles are going to be the same, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So want to do some Q&A?
Yes.
Okay. So you want to go first? I think you did do some in a previous session. Which question do you want to tackle?
I did the question on
Tell me about yourself, I think.
Yeah. Yes. About yourself. I can do anything other than that. So if anybody wants to go first with a tell me about yourself, I can, or maybe I can do another question right now.
Anybody wants to take a shot on the tell me about yourself question? Anam, you have 2 interviews coming up. You have 2 interviews.
Thank you, Dr. Khan. First of all, I'm very grateful to have this opportunity to attend your webinar today. My name is Dr. Anam Faiz. I was born and raised in a small city with 46 villages in its periphery and a famous historical city in its connection. After completing my graduation at National Medical University, I availed an opportunity to do my internship from the same hospital. And I believe I worked under the supervision of great mentors here and great attendees and that experience was my first experience to be in connect with the patient first time. That molded me enough to be advance myself ahead in the field of medicine. After my internship, I was lucky enough to be selected among the top 5% of the candidates in an open interview for public health sector selection. So in that, I availed an opportunity to work in different rural, suburban, and urban communities under the different healthcare setup. And I'm also someone who has a love for teaching. I have taught many USMLE candidates and helped them to succeed through my knowledge. I love painting, writing poetry in different languages. I have almost written 300 languages in different sublocal languages of Pakistan. Besides that, I'm someone who loves to do some gym, treadmill, and I love playing badminton and cricket. Also, I'm a great lover of book reading. Recently, I've read a book, Stand Out, as well as a book on cultural diversity in America. I believe that book has opened my mind enough to work well in the great diversity of America. Besides that, I'm also running an online channel on the YouTube that's about the healthcare of the patient, that is in Urdu, because I was dealing patients back in Pakistan that had the common language in Urdu. That is about lifestyle education and awareness about their different comorbidities that I built initially for the dialysis patient. I also have worked for different volunteer works. I also have I also created many awareness campaigns back in Pakistan for different healthcare issues as well. I have led many free healthcare seminars in my city as well as in 3 different villages back in Pakistan. That's all about me. Thank you.
I'm pretty sure there's much more. That's not all about you. Good. Yeah, I think, have you written down your answers, or are you just going by going with the flow?
It was just spontaneous.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I think you can just do voice to text very easily these days. Just to put it down to paper. I think this was fine.
Okay.
Delivery was reasonable. I think this was spontaneous. That's pretty good. When is your first interview?
It's on 15th of November.
Okay, November. Okay, it's coming up. Okay, all right, that's fine. Yeah, I think it's about time that you should just put things on paper, just to but it's fine. It's good. One thing, is this such a scenario where you will be giving your interviews, sitting for your interviews?
I'm working on that. I really need your feedback.
No, yeah. Is this your setup that you will be for your interviews?
Yeah.
Okay. One thing is just move your laptop a little bit back.
Okay,
Yeah,
like
and
this.
center it a little bit.
Is it fine now?
Yeah, I think you can move it just a little bit back so they can have a bit more, you know, what you're seeing for myself. I mean, right now I'm cutting off my head, but I didn't really spend time fixing my setup. So you want to,
Okay.
right?
Okay, great.
Right. And your audio is a little bit, could be improved a little bit.
Okay.
What do you guys think? Anybody else? Do you think that's reasonable? Her audio could be improved a little bit. What do you think?
I don't know. I thought I have a very shitty phone, so I thought it was my phone that was the problem. I think it was good. I could hear everything clearly, Dr. Umer.
Right. I would suggest anybody else. I thought it was a little
shaky.
Well, that was going to be my next comment about the video. Because that happened with Stefan yesterday, that he was sitting very close to his computer and it was shaking. So when you're talking, it's your lid of your
I got it.
It was shaking. That was going to be my third comment. It sounds a little bit that you're in echo. What do you guys? Anybody else thinks the same thing? I mean, when you listen to Abdullah speaking and her audio, just a little bit. I prefer audio to be very crisp. That's my personal preference. What you can do is anything USB, like a small regular USB mic, or even let me get somebody else's take. Anybody else? Stefan, Raja, what do you think?
Would headphones be off? Would headphones be a bad idea?
Headphones are not a bad idea. Headphones are reasonable. I don't think headphones is a problem.
I don't know. They feel really, with those little tooties in your ears, they feel really, the ones that are sticking out. Does that look professional?
Well, you know, people, that's a good thought. I think if you're dressed professionally and otherwise it's fine, and the audio is coming out crisp, I think the audio needs to come out crisp. That's the main point. That's what I think, at least. So anybody else wants to give a little bit of feedback, or they think her audio is fine? I just want to make sure she's ready for her interview.
Yeah, no, sorry, I didn't hear her audio, so I can't give it.
Anam, can you give a description of your college life? I mean,
my college life. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Khan. I believe my college life has molded me into a great person. I learned from my mistakes there, from my failures there, and I learned from my graduation that how much persistence matters in our life. It's not just about like working hard, but we need some coaching and mentorship. So I will during my graduation, I connected with the people and I learned from my seniors. So this is all about. Can you hear me, Dr. Stephen?
Yes, I think I heard it very clearly. For me, Dr. Umar,
no,
I feel like
I'm sorry to cut you off. I get what Dr. Umar is saying. I focused. It takes a sharp ear to listen to what's happening. It's very echoey, the voice.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, are you using like a double microphone or something like that? Do you have two microphones you're using?
Yeah, I have. I can try those.
Right.
Okay.
So the point is to make any mistake here, not in the interview.
Exactly. Yeah. Make your mistakes here and then correct them here before the interview date.
Yeah, I will try those.
And Dr. Fest, check that if your room's door is closed, maybe you can try opening it a bit because voice echo also occurs when you are alone in the room and room is closed.
Yeah, it's like that. My room is not that much big, but yeah, the room is closed. Maybe that's why it is echoing. But I'm trying to connect with my Bluetooth AirPods. So please continue the session. Meanwhile,
Okay. All right.
yeah.
That's fine. Yeah. The third comment was that it shakes when you talk. It shakes a little bit. Stephens shakes more. So you're not that bad. Stephens shakes
And,
more.
I agree. I'm learning my lessons gradually, trying to correct them as
Right.
much as I can.
Right. No, that's fine. Yeah.
Voice, man. I'm jealous of Stefan's voice.
Say it again.
I'm saying I'm jealous of your voice. You have a very nice voice, smooth.
Oh, I hear you. Yeah, well, anyway, thanks for the compliments. Appreciate that.
No problem, my brother.
All right.
So, Dr. Khan, I have got a question about the background. So, what type of background do you prefer having during the interview? Like simple, plain is enough, or what type should? Like, I don't have any hobby like painting or something like that, so I can hang on some paintings. So, I am actually thinking about the background right now for the interview. What do you suggest?
Whatever it is, it needs to be clean. Yeah, that's it. It needs to be nice and clean, no clutter in your background. The light source. Yes.
So let's just say it's a plain wall, like plain whitewashed wall, white or off white, you can say. So is that okay? Light will be in front of me.
Right. So, I mean, you can see sort of my background, you can see Anam's background, Stefan's background. So these are reasonable. These are reasonable. Let me see if anybody else has a background or no, not. So if it's a, a sort of a setup background, that's good. That's probably more preferred. However, if you don't have it, a plain background is fine. You don't have it, a plain background is fine. What you need to have is a clear audio and a light in front of you, a light source in front of you.
Yeah.
Those are the most important things. If you can't, go and, change your whole environment. You can't do that. Easy ways would be to just buy an artificial plant. This is an artificial plant right here. These are all artificial plants. They come very cheap.
Yeah.
Just put them on, and they within, I'm not sure where you are, but very few amounts of money, you can put them up. But the lighting needs to be good. The lighting and the audio needs to be good, and the lighting needs to be in front of your face.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about the plants right now, or otherwise I just have a plain background. I'm thinking about it. Maybe I can add anything else too, but for now, I'm just thinking about the plants.
Right.
The plain background doesn't give any, you can say, negative effect. It
no,
does or doesn't?
No, just it's better to have something, look more professional. It's better, but if it's not there, at least don't be dirty. Don't be messy. Whatever it is, it should be nice and clean, tidied up. Everything should be clean. But a plain background is fine. Plain background is also fine. You need to be structured, your eye height as much as possible, right? Eye height as much as possible. Your frame showing a little bit. Okay, you can express yourself if you need to. And so your head, my head is cutting off, but ideally you should be like here. Not too much space on the top. Not too much space, right? Not too much space.
Got it.
Yeah. So like your face should be in the center and above a little bit. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I got it. Thank you so much.
And light, again, light needs to be in front. People sometimes open their windows and it's at the back. right? Yeah,
The light source is in front of me or
Yeah.
all above my head, and the one big light or tube light is in front of me.
great.
So I have got a ring light too, but I have glasses, so I have to put the ring light on the side.
Right,
So
right.
I use that ring light on one side and torch light on the other side to balance that, because if I put the ring light in front of me, that will reflect in my glasses.
Right. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay.
Thank you so much.
And then Jeviri, I think one thing you might do is probably have a mock interview with Dr. Omar before you really interview, just so you can have a clear picture
Yeah,
of
yeah,
the
I
lighting
will
and
try that.
everything.
Yeah, I will definitely try that, because I didn't have setup right now. That's why I just asked him, but I will try that too.
Yeah, you should
Thank you
have
so
it
much.
ready, because it will come so quick. Time will
Yeah,
pass by so quick. So that maybe in the next session or some other session down the line, you can,
yeah, I will definitely do that in some other session down the line.
got it.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
yeah.
Great.
So that I can check my picture quality too and decide about the camera too. I will definitely do that. Thank you so much for your
Okay.
feedback.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so all right, question. Somebody wants to practice?
I'm willing to go as well.
Okay, so you want to talk about
The strengths.
let's do strengths. Okay.
Okay, should I start?
Yeah, so hi, Dr. Abdullah. Okay, so I have a question for you, and I know this is a common question, but you seem like a person who may have different experiences. I want to see if you can talk about what have been your strengths that have brought you here to this interview today.
Thank you so much for the question, Dr. Umer. And like you mentioned, that is a very common question that's asked. And I feel like I took a bit of time coming up with the answers to this question, because not only did I want to impress you guys, per se, but I also wanted to be honest about my journey that's led me here. I think one of the things that I've experienced and I've really worked on, and I wouldn't say that was a strength, but I think that it's one of those things that I've been very consistently working on, is articulation. And I feel like being in internal medicine and being a doctor in general, the one thing that I've learned about and the one thing I struggled with during my life was to be articulate enough so that I could get my points across not only to the patients, but my fellow colleagues as well. And it's something that I've tried to work on and I am working on, as you know that everyone is a work in progress. So that would be one of my strengths. Another one of my strengths would be I'm very cognizant about my mistakes, or I'm very cognizant about what aspects of my professional and personal life that I need to work on. And I think that's one of the reasons why I've been interested in internal medicine to begin with. I realized what my strengths were. I was very aware about what I could do and where I would thrive. And I thought that internal medicine would be one of the fields that I would thrive in, mostly because I'm very observant as well. And that this was a perfect segue to my third what's the word? I've forgotten the word.
Strength or
My goodness.
strong point.
Strong point. My third strength is that I'm very observant. So oftentimes I would be of help to my seniors, where I would just be collecting all the case notes and I would notice little discrepancies. Or there have been multiple occasions when I would bring up to the attention of my seniors something that they might have missed in their very hectic schedules. And obviously, they're very talented seniors and they have a lot more knowledge than I do. And they taught me most of the things that I know. But I think it's my ability to be observant that really impressed them. And it gave me a lot of confidence to move in the future as well into internal medicine. And I hope that answers your question.
Okay, great. Yeah. Great. I think you gave a few examples. Those are always appreciated. Yeah, so I think all these questions, I think examples are always the best. Examples are, you always need to, plug in an example. If you say somebody says, okay, I am actually fairly enterprising. Okay, you have to give an example. Okay, I
Yeah.
started this club during medical school.
Yeah.
And we led it to this level and this and this and this, and we we developed this into a small startup. It didn't go well, but this was definitely an experience that taught me about this for my future purposes. I'm a people person. If somebody gives an example, then you have to give an example. Yeah, because now I'm a people person, and I believe I get along with everyone. I have my own ways of getting along with people, and I think 99% of the times people appreciate my demeanor and my approach. And practically speaking, this has helped me because I was the leader of my class, of the class representative. This definitely helped me coordinate, collaborate, engage, and motivate people. And I believe this brings me into medicine as well as a solid resident for internal medicine. And I think I will carry this value into medicine as well. So anything positive you talk about, share a bit of an example.
Perfect.
Let's say, yeah, I'm very detailed. I'm very detail oriented. Well, everybody likes to blow their own horn or toot their own horn. And I know there are many other capable detail-oriented candidates, but I like to talk about myself, and I, because of my detail-oriented approach, during the final year, we have our annual events, and the college administration saw my abilities and they put me in charge of this activity. And I'm happy to say that I do believe I did a very good job, and I always received praise for this. And this also replicates in medicine. As I'm fairly detailed with my history, which I've seen myself, and hopefully I will look to improve upon my strengths with my history taking and my patient evaluation skills. And I know I'm just going to be a resident, but of course, my what do you call it? Detail-oriented approach will do me well. Thanks for asking the question. So everything needs to have some type of a connection with something.
Yeah. Dr. Umer, would you recommend that? Honestly, everything right now is impromptu, so I haven't really written everything down. Would you recommend that I write it down as well? Because at the end of the day, I just don't want to lose the.
You don't have to write. You can do bullet points.
Perfect.
You
Yeah.
don't have to do it verbatim. Every single thing. Some people who have difficulty with grammar, I recommend that they do write it down and practice their presentation. But otherwise, if somebody is, naturally a bit more eloquent, it's okay to just do bullet points.
Dr. Umer, what would you recommend for me to improve my way of giving this interview or answering the question? What would you think is the most important thing that I should work on?
Most important. I think, yeah, just bullet points for you. I think you should have a list of 20 questions, right? And those bullet points for yourself. Okay, what I'm going to say in this, what am I going to say in this, what am I going to say in this?
And then Dr. Umer, can you keep a notepad out of the view of the interviewer so that you can read off it?
Yeah, so that came up yesterday. And ideally, I think you should have gone over your notes already.
Okay.
That you don't have to look at your note, because if some people said that you can put stickies on your different places on your screen, so you're not looking away for your notepad, right? So that may, it's up to you. If you're quick enough, if you're fast enough to not let that affect you, and you can think on your feet, and you can look at the notepad and get the information that you need, then it's fine. But I think if you practice these questions 3-4 times, I think it should come off naturally. And anything that they throw at you that is not what you practiced, it doesn't matter, because you have done this so much for 20 questions that you would be natural in giving an answer, providing an answer.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
So
Thank you.
I think just it will take you a couple of hours in an afternoon. Okay, this is point, this point, this point, this point, this point, this points. Okay, this question, this points. Let's go over it a couple of times. Some people I do recommend that they put it right, especially the common questions, they should have it written. Some people who may not be too slick when it comes to giving impromptu answers. So I think everybody's different. Everybody has their own strengths and the way they operate.
Then don't forget, if you're putting a sticky notes on the front of your computer, it might reflect on your eyeglasses. And I don't think that is something you want to risk risk with. And as Dr. Omar said, I think consistent practice will make us better. I'm always nervous myself, but what I'm doing is just to keep practicing. Hopefully, I get better. Well, Dr. Mohammed, I think I'm very pleased with your response. Mostly your transition statement was something that swept my feet. I think you should keep that up.
Okay. Yeah. So, So I added the transitional sentences in the "tell me about yourself" answer. So that's just an example of what you should do. Okay. When you look at the program, transitional sentences. Transitional sentences. If anybody is not with the program, then you can just message me. Let me just put my number here. That should help out, hopefully. WhatsApp. This is a WhatsApp number. Noor has a hand raised. Hello. Okay, maybe not. Okay. All right. I think we are crossing an hour.
Hi, Dr.
Oh, yes. Okay. Sorry.
Can you hear?
It's your audio is coming in and out, but we can try.
Oh, can you hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, let's try. You can say what you need to say.
Oh yes, thank you so much. So I just wanted to ask you that if you are asked this question about our strengths, how should we start the answer? Like, should we just jump into the answer, or should we say something in the beginning? Because I don't want to come off as too arrogant. So how should we start it? Okay,
good question. I think the best way, and I'll probably add this to the program as well. The best way to answer this type of, to have a transition sentence, that's what you're talking about, is, well, I do believe that, well, let me just step back a little bit. I do know that there are many highly qualified candidates, but I do, but since you asked this question, and I do want to, support myself as well, I would definitely love to talk about my strengths. And you mentioned 3. I would love to talk about some of my 3 strengths, and they include this, and the first one, this because of this and this example. I do believe this correlates with medicine as well. Then second, then third, and yeah, you will start by, I do believe there are many qualified candidates here, but I do believe I'm a strong candidate as well. And thanks for asking this question. And then you jump into the question.
Yeah, thank you so much. And could you also comment on how we should start the answer to our weaknesses? I was confused about these 2.
Okay. Good question. And everybody knows that they all have weaknesses, and I've also identified a few. And I knew this was a common question as well, but I did prepare for it, and I found this to be my weaknesses. This because of this, but I have worked on this to improve this. So I think you will approach it like that.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah. These, to have a transition sentence before this is probably better. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. Okay, so
Thank you,
we'll
Dr.
have more
Thank you,
sessions
Dr.
coming up.
Omar.
All right. So
Yeah.
we'll have, of course, we'll share the calendar and we'll send out the invites and the emails. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Dr. Khan,
yes.
thank you so much, Dr. Khan, for the session. I want to ask you, I was not able to attend the yesterday's session. I think I have not got the link. So is there any recording for yesterday's session?
Okay. Yeah. Do you yeah, send me a message. I'll share it with you as well. I'll share it with you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it would be great if you can share the today's recording as well. And
Right.
thank
Yeah,
you
this
so
will
much
be
for the
recorded and
session.
we will have this in a few days as well. Yes.
Okay, thank you so
All right.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Khan.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.